Welcome students of class 7th. I am Kamna ma'am, your science teacher. So today we will continue with our chapter 11, nutrition in plants. So let's start our topic. As we know, all living organisms consume food. The way in which they consume food or mode of nutrition differ. So basically there are two modes of nutrition in plants, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Now heterotrophic can be saprophytic, parasitic and symbiotic. This I will explain you later in detail. Now I will explain you autotrophic nutrition. Now when I say auto means self. So the organisms which are self-dependent and prepare their own food are called autotrophs. For example, green plants, they prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Actually, the leaves of plant contain green pigment called chlorophyll that absorb the sunlight to make their food. In the absence of chlorophyll, photosynthesis doesn't take place. Now, what is photosynthesis? Photo means light and synthesis means to put together. So, it is a process by which green plants prepare their food in the presence of chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, and they manufacture glucose and oxygen. So this type of nutrition is called autotrophic nutrition and such organisms are called autotrophs. Now there is an equation which explains the process of photosynthesis and the necessary conditions required for photosynthesis. When carbon dioxide from air and water from ground reaches the leaves which already have green pigment called chlorophyll, that chlorophyll absorbs the light energy from sun. Then this carbon dioxide combined with water and form two products, glucose, which is a sugar molecule, and oxygen. Next is take note. There is one question for you that in photosynthesis glucose is formed. Then why do we test for starch instead of glucose? Actually, some glucose is used by plant for its development and extra glucose is stored in form of starch in the plants. So it is more suitable for us to test the starch in leaves. So through this question it is clear to you that if we are finding starch in leaves, this means extra glucose has been produced and extra glucose can only be produced if photosynthesis takes place in leaves. Now think, in absence of carbon dioxide, can photosynthesis process take place in plant? Answer is no. In fact, we can prove this with the help of an activity which is given here, that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Let's verify this. For this, we need two potted plants of same size, glass plate, bell-shaped jar, watch glass, beaker, petri dish, Bunsen burner, forceps, dropper, potassium hydroxide, ethyl alcohol, iodine and water. Now procedure. Take two healthy potted plants which are nearly the same size. Keep them in a dark room for 3 days. Now place each plant on separate glass plates. Place a watch glass containing potassium hydroxide by the side of plant A. Potassium hydroxide is used to absorb the carbon dioxide. Cover both the plant with separate bell jars. Use Vaseline to seal the bottom of the jars to the glass plates so that the setup is airtight. Keep the plants in sunlight for about 2 hours. Pluck a leaf from each plant. Put the leaf in separate beakers containing ethyl alcohol. Place the beaker in boiling water and heat them. Alcohol will decolorize the leaves by dissolving the chlorophyll present in them. Now wash the leaves with water. Then put iodine solution on both the leaves. Check the leaves for the presence of starch by iodine test. Do both the leaves show the presence of the same amount of starch? Observation. The leaf from pot A remains unchanged in the presence of iodine. The starch is not present in it. The leaf from pot B turns bluish in the presence of iodine. The starch is present in it. What can you conclude from this activity? Potassium hydroxide placed near the pot A absorbs all the carbon dioxide. Hence, plant A cannot perform photosynthesis. Plant B does normal photosynthesis by utilizing carbon dioxide from the surrounding air. The leaf from pot B therefore shows the presence of starch. Thus, from this activity, we conclude that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Now, I have prepared some in-between questions for you. Copy them in your notebook and learn them, and try to make some more in-between question answer. That's all for today. Thank you.